Could Brazil really miss out on the 2026 World Cup? Where it's all gone wrong for the Selecao as Neymar and Vinicius Jr. injuries pile on the pressure ahead of huge clash with old foes Argentina. The five-time champions have won just 2 of their opening 5 qualifiers ahead of Tuesday's clash with the defending champions at the Maracana. Outside of tournaments, Brazil don't play many big games. This is not a team that is familiar with the concept of desperation or having their fixture branded as must-win. Things aren't supposed to get this intense or this nervous until the knockout stages of a World Cup or Copa America. But here we are, in mid-November, in a qualifying campaign for a World Cup that is just under 3 years away, and the Selecao are sweating. CONMEBOL qualifying is widely regarded as the most competitive, even if the world rankings don't always bear that out. A 3-year gauntlet with each team playing 18 matches, and at the end of it just 4 automatic spaces at the tournament. Things have changed ahead of 2026, though, with the expanded 48-team tournament now allowing for 6 South American sides to qualify, with a 7th heading to an intercontinental playoff. Despite that, Brazil find themselves in a precarious position as the opening third of the campaign heads towards its close. Having won just 2 of their opening 5 games, they currently sit 5th in the standings ahead of Tuesday's crunch clash with old rivals Argentina. Defeat and results going a certain way elsewhere could see them end the international break out of the automatic qualification slots that would not be becoming of a Brazil squad that is full of stars from the European Games, as well as a number of youngsters who will join that cohort in the not-too-distant future. And unlike recent Selecao sides, there are very few obvious holes in the starting 11. It's hard to highlight where, exactly, things have gone so wrong for a team who are expected to win every single World Cup by their own fans, regardless of their own strengths or those of their opponents. Qualification isn't a prerequisite as much of an assumption. These games should effectively be a handful of friendlies to gear up for the real thing. So how have they got to this stage? It starts in the dugout. Tite was always going to step down following the 2022 World Cup. The Brazil manager announced in February of that year that the tournament in Qatar would be his last act in charge of the Selecao. It was hardly a memorable send-off, though. Brazil never really convinced, narrowly winning 2 of their group games, before losing a dead-rubber third to Cameroon. And although they made quick work of South Korea in the last 16, they couldn't feel hard done by in their quarterfinal exit to Croatia, even though it took penalties to secure the loss. Tite left his post immediately, as promised, leaving the national team without a permanent head coach. Under-20s boss Ramon Menezes took over on an interim basis, but after losing to Senegal on neutral ground, he was relieved of his duties. A subsequent poll of the Brazilian public revealed that most in the country wanted Real Madrid manager Carlo Ancelotti to take the job. Instead, they hired Fernando Diniz, also on an interim basis, a manager who had bounced around Brazilian football and never managed a side for more than 2 years. This was hardly a convincing appointment. And so it has proved. Diniz has won 2 of his 5 matches in charge, while also juggling his day job with Fluminense, with whom he has admittedly won the Copa Libertadores. Diniz, a tough disciplinarian who believes in positional tiki-taka, always seemed an awkward fit. The result has been a side that has only scored 8 goals in 5 games, despite being blessed with some of the world's best attacking talent. Experience could be on the way. Football Federation President Ednaldo Rodriguez, formerly in the job in an interim nature himself, claimed in July that Ancelotti has already agreed to take over the side for the 2024 Copa America, something Ancelotti himself has refused to comment on. Continuity, a valuable thing in international management, is nowhere to be found, misfiring attack. There is tactical complexity to assembling a winning team. Success is not so easily attained by simply throwing the best attacking talents on the pitch and asking them to score goals. Still, Brazil's forward options should be the envy of world football. At full fitness, they can turn to Neymar, Vinicius Jr., Gabriel Martinelli, Rodrigo, Gabriel Jesus, Rafinha, Richarlison, and Antony, plus rising stars Endrick and Vitor Roque. It is telling that Tite selected no less than 9 forwards in his 2022 World Cup squad. Having good players alone is not conducive to scoring a lot of goals, but that group should be able to manage more than 8 in 5 games, regardless of how tricky some of these fixtures can be.